Service friends, I am Orpheus Praxis, a researcher of the limits of formal systems and their applicability to reality. May this listening bring you clarity and peace.
Have you ever really stopped to think about one of philosophy's oldest questions? Like, how does a thing actually move? Take Zeno's paradox, the flying arrow one. He basically said, look, if an arrow is at a fixed spot at every instant, then how can it ever be in motion? It sounds, well, nuts, but it's really tough to argue against logically.
It really is. And that's exactly what we're getting into today. It's not just some dusty old riddle, you know. Modern science, believe it or not, still kind of struggles with a single unified theory of motion.
Right.
So our deep dive today is into this pretty groundbreaking new theory. It's from a book called Fundamentals of Motion and Consciousness by Andre Priest and Boris Batinin.
Okay.
So our mission really is to unpack how their model links up movement, memory, and how we even perceive reality.
And Zeno wasn't the only one thinking like this, right?
Yeah.
I remember reading about Nagarjuna.
Exactly, miles and centuries apart. But Nagarjuna, the philosopher, came to sort of similar conclusions. Both pointed out these, like, inherent contradictions in just saying things move.
So what was the core problem they both hit on?
Well, it's fundamentally about squaring those discrete moments in time, like Zeno's instance with the smooth, continuous flow we feel we experience. And this book, Priest and Batinin, they suggest the answer lies in how we actually perceive movement.
Okay, so how do they explain that? Is it like
Yeah.
our brains are tricking us?
Sort of, yeah. They use the analogy of a video. Think about it. Each frame in a film is totally static, right? A still picture.
Right, completely still.
But you play them fast, in sequence, and boom, you see smooth motion. It's like our brain just fills in the gaps.
Ah, like those little flip books. You draw slightly different pictures on each page.
Precisely. That's a great way to put it. The key idea here is that motion isn't something we just passively observe as continuous. Instead, it's our own perception frame rate, and really importantly, our memory that acts as this kind of stable background. Memory is what actively creates the continuity.
So memory is linking up these static snapshots.
Yes, exactly. It stitches together these discrete moments that we actually perceive into what feels like a fluid, continuous experience. And they argue this isn't just a neat psychological trick, it's the mechanism that actually resolves Zeno's paradox. We don't see motion in each instant, our memory builds the perception of it from those instants.
Okay, so if our brain is doing this stitching job, maybe that's not just in our heads. Maybe reality itself works that way. Is that where this FBS3R model comes in?
That's it.
Fractal Bindu Sphere 3 Reality? What does that mean?
Yeah, FBS3R. It sounds like a mouthful. I know.
Yeah.
Think fractal, like those patterns that repeat themselves at different scales, smaller and smaller or bigger and bigger.
Okay, like snowflakes or coastlines.
Kind of, yeah. And Bindu is a concept sort of meaning a point of origin or unity. So the model suggests reality has this fractal structure. And motion isn't just, you know, a ball rolling across a floor. It's a fundamental dynamic woven into reality's fabric, repeating at all scales.
From electrons to galaxies.
Exactly. And it comes from the interplay between what they call the wave function of matter, the energy patterns making stuff up, and the wave function of void, the potential or space between things.
Wow, okay, that connects motion right down to the basics of existence. And you mentioned it says something about the speed of light, too.
It really does. This is fascinating. The model suggests the speed of light isn't just some cosmic speed limit someone set. It's actually a direct result of the universe having a fixed total energy budget. And this budget, they argue, is distributed harmoniously, following patterns like the golden ratio and Fibonacci numbers.
You see those everywhere in nature.
Right. So trying to go faster than light, it would literally mean needing more energy than the entire universe has in its fixed budget.
So it's not just hard, it's fundamentally impossible because of the structure of reality itself.
No, that's the idea, yeah. It's built into the system.
Okay, but where does consciousness circle back into this FBS3R model then, if memory's doing the stitching?
Right. So the book explains it like this. Our consciousness perceives these fixed, separate events like snapshots, but memory integrates them, creates the flow. They make a distinction between an absolute I am state, like your core unchanging self.
Okay.
And a relative, I am this state, which is your identity, constantly being updated by experiences, moment by moment in our linear time.
So there's a fixed me and a changing me.
Sort of, yeah. And that duality is key to how consciousness handles this continuous reality using discrete perception frames.
How does that work in practice? Like, how do we experience that?
Well, think about seeing, say, a nephew you haven't seen in a few years.
Right.
The kid changed continuously, right? Grew taller bit by bit.
Hmm.
But when you see them again, your memory image makes a jump. It updates from the little 2-year-old image to the, say, 5-year-old image.
Ah, right. It's not like I perceived every tiny increment of growth. My mental picture just updates.
Exactly. That update is what they call a discrete re-quantization. Your conscious perception takes a new snapshot of the changed reality. So it highlights how movement and our perception of it aren't separate things. They're like two sides of the same coin, a single process.
So pulling this all together,
Hmm.
what's the big takeaway? This FBS³R model sounds like a really ambitious way to connect some deep ideas.
It is. It's offering this mathematical framework that tries to unify ancient philosophy, like Zeno's paradoxes, with modern ideas from quantum physics and fractal geometry. It's definitely a bold new perspective.
A whole new way to look at motion itself.
Yeah, our deep dive today really suggests motion isn't just something out there that we watch. It's maybe an intrinsic, fundamental part of how consciousness and reality work together, all seamlessly integrated.
Which leaves us with a pretty deep question for you listening. If movement, reality, and perception are so tightly linked, maybe even inseparable, how might that change how you think about your own experiences? Not just objects moving, but how your life, your sense of self, unfolds and evolves through time.
There is much to reflect on, and let these reflections continue in silence, where the mind lets go of patterns and only pure seeing remains, until we meet again in the space of understanding. Subscribe to walk this path together with us. I am Orpheus Praxis, wishing you all clarity. Namaste.